Hey, what do you say? It's Wednesday, the 10th, correct? Of April. Cheers. And I'm back. Pretty much first thing in the morning. Today, I have to do some yard work. It's nice enough I can't put it off. I just have to get the spring thing started. You know what I mean? My main challenge is the backyard. So that's on my agenda for today. Great way to start the day. Well, let's take a look. Let's start today with comments. Oh, here's John McRae. I've never met John, but he is a big progressive rock collector. He's sent me some music, which is very kind of him. And I see his posts in Facebook feeds, groups all the time. Yes, I'm appreciating the positive feedback, you know. And he's weighing in on pretension. It's like, I mean, so what if prog rock is pretentious? So the fuck what? Okay. Then now he's speaking about the trapeze. He likes it. He says that Medusa is a killer hard rock in his opinion. Well, again, I love that because we get to share our opinions. It's like, that ain't killer to me, but that's my taste. See, it's not a big deal to have differences in taste. He brings up the album Providence. Now, I have that too. Actually bought it at the last record show at the location that I bought this one at. Providence is on Threshold by the Moody Blues. That's more folky. It fits. You know, you can hear why they're on, how they fit in. So that's, but I love the interaction. Yeah, Henry Franklin is badass. Someone else talking about Dino Valenti. Cool. Yeah, I have all the early Quicksilver albums. I like them. And people suggesting things, you know, like I'll check. I usually do check things out. You know, Frost Milliontown. I'll check it out. And I'm not interested in hearing the new Beyonce album. A happy hippie vinyl guy. I've heard it because I check things out, but I don't need to hear her do Blackbird. I don't need to hear it. You know. Big fucking deal, you know. The thing that I'm aware of with Beyonce and all that, you know, she's super commercial, super rich. And with her husband, Jay-Z, this is my take on it. I bet you I'm right, at least in part. Part of what's going on with Beyonce jumping into the country game is they as a couple, as a business couple, responding to Taylor Swift. You know, I was like, oh no, we can't have we got to get Beyonce in there. We got to get Bey in there. That's part of what's going on. I bet you anything. And is that fine with me? Well, of course it's fine with me because that's what they're doing. They're in the game. They're in the big business game, you know? And that's part of what I see. So I don't need to hear. I heard the single and it was like, oh God, please. I don't like country music. I like the country flavor. But as a genre, I don't like country music. So I spent some time yesterday on what I had thought I had chose for the program of the Muse 2. I'm not starting all over again, but I am part of what is happening that the Muse is connecting so well with people is the way that it's sequenced. Because I really struggled a long time, and I have several burn copies of the Muse in its different sequences, trying to figure out the flow. And it decided, if you didn't notice, I decided to basically put it into two parts, where it's the melodic side, and the closer we get to the air, the more abstract it gets. And that took a long time because I wanted to keep both aspects of that in the project. So I did some listening yesterday and last night to what I had chosen so far for Muse 2. And this is, again, as part of the process too. And took some things out where I thought this would fit and it doesn't. And I was listening to some other stuff where I hadn't chosen it for the sequence for Muse 2. It's just, this is probably gonna put this in there. So that's what's going on with that. Thank you, folks, very much for the feedback. I do not use Spotify. I do not. I mean, I'm on Spotify, but I just basically refuse to listen to anything on Spotify. Yes, I know who Adam Holtzman is. I'm not particularly, probably almost anything I talk to, anyone I talk to would be interesting, if someone has a connection with Adam Holtzman, Then someone asked me to send, can I send you a CD to listen to? I've said this before. I have way too many records in the house as it is. So if you just want me to hear some music, like I told them, send me the link. And they did send the link. And I hear the quality, but it's not, I don't need a copy of that. Thank you for sharing it with me. Okay? You'll get much further with me with instrumental music. Okay? That's what I'll say. But I don't necessarily need people sending me stuff unless it's to be reviewed. Okay? That's where it's at. If it's something that you need reviewed, okay, that's where that's at. All right. Yeah. And yep. Yeah, Blue-Eyed Soul is just a stupid, to me, it's just always been a real stupid term. Always has been. And even though these records that I just bought, some of them I ultimately don't want. Someone asked to buy the Trapeze. Well, I'm not ready to sell it just yet. I will. I'll get rid of them. But the Medusa, I like the cover. So as a piece of art, I'm going to keep it for that reason for a while. The fact that another person swears to me they think it's killer, I'll listen to it again. I definitely don't think so. But that's my taste, see? There's no reason for people to get offended when our opinions are different. No reason at all. No reason at all. So, a little bit more on those and then some other records, because while listening to these $2 records, which is mostly what I bought, fresh perspective on other stuff. So I listened to more of this album. I like this better than Trapeze, okay? How about that? So that would be what I would, and it's not to say go and listen to this now and compare it. They don't compare. This is not a hard rock album. This is a rock album with pop hopes for pop, and they did it. They had a breakthrough. So I listened to more of that, enjoyed it. Got this for $2 because now the Pretty Things. This is the Pretty Things. Crosstalk. I was just talking about them, how in general I like them better than the Stones, but now here's the deal. The Pretty Things were not consistent. They've made a lot of records. It's like, what the fuck? What are these songs? And here's one. Crosstalk. I got it for $2. I kind of knew this would probably not be very good for my taste, and it's not. But I get to hear them again, and I'll be listening to the songs. I'll be thinking, why do they like this? Because SF Sorrow, Parachute, and Savage Eye. I really like the album Savage Eye by Pretty Things. See, that album is good. It's around this period too. This is 1980. So they had the goods, but it was just all over the place. So this was like, yeah, this bombs. That's a bomb, but it goes in the collection. It's in my Pretty Things collection. Okay. Now I pulled some records from my collection because those were getting me to say, well, let me go back and, like, for example, this album, Bobak, Jons, and Malone. I don't know. Did you send this to me? Someone did. It was an album that I was wanting, couldn't find. Now this is more my taste, except there's a solo in here, a guitar solo in here that it's like, it's just really awful. It's awful. It's like, as good as everything else is, why did that happen? Why in God's name? But I can sort of understand because this was made in the 60s, back when things were still developing. But overall, this is the kind of thing I like. It's kind of, it's not quite prog, see? I'm not, I'm interested in interesting music. So it's kind of psychedelic, kind of poppy, kind of weird, interesting. I'd really like to get the Will Malone album where he's got the clown costume, clown looking suit on the front on Fontana. Really rare. I like that cover though. So this was like, oh, okay. I listened to it all the way through. Finally, had never listened to the whole album all the way through, to be honest. Really like it. Here's one that, for a while there, I was thinking, let me pull this out. I think I want to get rid of it. Black Sun Ensemble, Elemental Forces. Good thing I waited, because in context, this is another one where I got it cheap. In context with listening to some of these other old records that I just bought cheaply, this is good. There are songs on here where the singing is like, oh God. Sorry, folks. I'm just being real honest, about what I like and what I don't like. The instrumental tracks are pretty good. And they try things, which I like about this band. It's like they are attempting different things on here. There's a slightly tribal thing, and then there's a slightly progressive thing, and Black Sun Ensemble. So I'm glad it stays. It's good. The last time I listened to it, it was like I couldn't get past the vocals, but kind of getting that perspective retuned, where if an album has one piece that's worthwhile, that can be enough for me to keep it. Now, on the other hand, here's a band more recent where I haven't heard a bad thing by them. Boards of Canada, Peel Session, 12-inch 45. It just gets going and grinds on through as it permutates. I love their use of sampling and this fuzzy kind of sound that they have overall that is like looking at old photographs. This band is unique and very cool. Here's one that I've had for a long time that I got picked up cheap, and it's part of like, yeah, these are records from my childhood that I always wanted to hear. This is 1969 again, Black Pearl. I like the cover. This is definitely what you call white soul, okay? Now, I remember the other album with the black cover on Vanguard where the guy's got the sweaty face and it's like he's just really getting down. So I always knew that's what this was about, was an approximation of excitement, and really sexually charged rock and music. And that's what this is. Mostly it's not very good though. It's, it's like if I saw a band doing this nowadays, I would think it's a joke. Kind of like when the first time I saw Beck, I didn't know if I was supposed to take him serious. He started doing that falsetto shit. I said, what the fuck is this? And it didn't work because he was on the same bill as Atari Teenage Riot and the Roots, and both those bands blew him away, and he was the headliner. So see, that's why I talk about my perspective. I think my perspective is valid, whether you like it or not. So this guy, you know, trying his best to approximate something like a James Brown approach of a frontman, which is admirable. I must say that there is one song on here that saves the record, thank God, because mostly this is dreadful for my taste. But the last song on side one, Mr. Soul Satisfaction, is where they pretty much get it right. The band is scrappy and funky, but in a really scrappy way. Like they can barely do this, but it's like they really like it and they're giving it all they got. So that was fun. I have some more records pulled to listen to that I haven't got to yet. I did go back into the Orange Milk records. I told you ended up buying 9 titles on the Orange Milk label at the convention, and only one of them is a stinker. It's like, okay, this is the album that they made with commercial intentions in mind, and it's the least interesting. It's a very interesting electronic band. Label. This is the least interesting of them. The Pascale Project, Be Yourself. It's club dance music, electronic club dance music. Okay, the vocals are, as I say, cringeworthy. This is another winner. RMX These fonts are hard to read, like with the death metal and black metal bands, with their fonts looking like branches and stuff. And what is this? Can't quite make this up. Oh, okay. RMX Reality, Advent. Very electronic. Again, this label they do a good job of matching the graphics with the sounds. I like this stuff. I think I'd get a headache if I listened to a lot of it in a row all the time. That I can't do. Here's another one where this one was sealed. It was sealed, so I got to pop the seal. I'll take that off. And this one is another really good one. This is some guy named Woody. Headbanging in phase. I can't read it. This is wild. I like this. This is very. I don't endeavor to make records like this where it's like they're like kind of like. Oh, it's hard to describe. It's the covers. They look like the covers. So that's cool. Something else that I bought for $2. I already had the album, but this is a German pressing. I love import pressings. I was just talking about this album, The Association. And here's a German pressing, not a gatefold. I love the, as a vinyl lover, I love these plates compared to the US ones. So I played this again last night, and sure enough, this is much better after a few listens than my first impression. The songs Love Affair and The Nest on side 1 are very good. I also love how the band rallied around the main lead singer, who is he Filipino, non-white. I just love how that they made that work. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? Some of you do. I did play some more of the Quicksilver. This is okay, yeah. Dino Valenti and I remember the story about how he was supposed to be there in the first place, but got thrown in prison. This is a keeper. This is a definite keeper. This is good. New York Rock Ensemble. I listened to it all the way through. Got to the Wait Until Tomorrow was the song that they would put on samplers. You know, those old samplers that labels would put out trying to get you to buy their stuff. That was the song that I heard that I didn't particularly like. But in context with the rest of this album, this is good. Good songwriting, good playing, imaginative. Score. And that, oh, okay, let me show you this one. I'll keep going. So, here's another one where I never necessarily wanted this album, but since it was only $2, I finally get to take it home and drop the needle. I knew about Silverhead and Michael DeBar all the way from the beginning. Pamela DeBar's husband, Silverhead. And then Nigel Harrison, who ended up being in Blondie after this band. This is that kind of slightly sleazy, sexy rock and roll. The cover tells you what it's about. You know, it's about girls and sex. And Michael DeBar had that kind of voice that's got the grit and the soul in it, but he doesn't sound pretendy. See, some people's voices, it's just so good. It's not like he's trying to sound like a black man. He's sounding like himself, and he's got it. He's quite a good singer, and this is actually pretty decent overall for regarding the material, the songs. So this was good. This was a good listen. I'd always wanted to hear it, you know, other than just, you know, I never heard it on the radio. So I think that's the first time I've actually heard Silverhead that I can remember. Here's another $2 one on Elektra, where I said, okay, I want to hear it. It's on Elektra. Could be good. And it's pretty good, but here's what's interesting about this album. I had forgotten this trivia. Daryl Hall of Hall & Oates. That's him. On keyboards in this band. He doesn't even hardly sing in the band. They all sing, but his vocals, they don't stand him out on this album. This is pretty good. It's rock. This is back when such a thing as rock. There's rock, then there's rock and roll. Then we start to get into heavy rock, hard rock. This is rocking with hopes for chart success, and there was none. I showed you that album Jubal on Elektra yesterday, which stinks. This is much better in comparison. Elektra had good A&R people, and that's a neat trivia thing. Daryl Hall of Hall & Oates. This is an early band of his. Here's one that I got. I paid $5 for this one. Didn't know anything about it, but I could tell, yeah, this is the sort of thing I look for to take a chance on. This is Russian. Autograph is the name of the band. Russian progressive rock. Now, this is a perfect example of pretension, okay? It's real keyboard oriented with good passages, but some cheesy patches used on the synthesizer. In other words, some of the sounds they use on here have dated horribly. The vocals just, for me, destroy it. I know some folks in Russia, so don't take this wrong, because I love people, but the Russian language is strange. And so the vocals on here, it's like, what the hell? You know, it's not a very attractive language to listen to. I can't imagine whispering sweet nothings into the ear of someone that I'm turned on by in Russian. Pardon me. But that's the difference in culture. So see, I'm not dissing it. I'm talking about the difference. Don't get me wrong. Don't be stupid. Do not come over here and assign stupid thoughts to me, because the way that you interpret what I say has more to say about you than me, okay? I'm trying to be clear. So I'm real glad I got this autograph. It reminds me, I ran into Dereck Fisher from the VC there. I took a picture of us, but it didn't come out. The damn focus, so I haven't posted it. But I was talking to him at the show when I looked at this and was saying to him, this is the sort of thing that I like to find. And it's a score. It's a keeper. The music is good. The music is real good. Okay, it's 24 minutes. See, 25 minutes. See, I could just talk all day. Easily could talk a long, long time. Do we want to get one more in? Okay, we will. So I bought 2 Rascals albums. I think I showed you the other one where it was one I'd been looking for. And this one I picked it up because, again, it was only $2. And again, lovely, lovely graphics. Search and Nearness. And again, you can hear in the titles and the graphics here that the Rascals are trying to evolve. Here is that famous, well, it's famous to those who know, the picture of the missing, I forget, Gene, was it? You know, they were going through changes and he was out of the picture, but in their minds, they wanted to, is it Eddie Brigatti? That they wanted to acknowledge. This, again, is a hodgepodge. There, thankfully, are some strong songs on here. Overall, it's that Felix Cavalier trying to do the gospel-y thing. He does it pretty good. I never liked gospel people. I'm going to tell you straight. And I was my grandpa was a Baptist minister. I lived with them. I helped him write a sermon. But gospel has always creeped me out. And when I was a little kid, some of it was downright scary to me. And I understand why, as an adult, don't like gospel music. I don't. I could write a paper about it. So glad I escaped the church. So the stuff where they're reaching more for a jazzy feel on this is what I like. Okay? So I got another sale from talking about the Muse. I'd love to keep that going. If I could sell one a day or even 1 or 2 a week, that $5-6 that I get out of the total, everything else goes to postage and to Bandcamp. It's $5-6 I didn't have beforehand. And based on the music that I've earned it through my music, it means a lot. And people are telling me, you can read the comments, this is very good. The other thing about it is, this is just as good. It's a different program. It's the same, it's from the same body of work. It's me. And Blake is on here too. Blake is on the interlude. So is James. James will be on Muse too. Cubby, if he comes in town for a visit or something and we can do a session, he'll be on it too. All right, folks. Man, these videos are getting long. Take care. Ooh, I got to shave.